Hello, Oceanside families. May is an extraordinary month for all of us here in the Oceanside schools. First and foremost, we get to celebrate and recognize educators who have been granted tenure in their professional career and journey. If you haven't already done so, I ask that you take a few moments to enjoy the video celebration that was done in their behalf that is available on our district website, and we congratulate all of them for a job well done. May, of course, is also the month in which we ask our community to exercise their right to vote relative to our proposed school budget for the subsequent school year. In just a few minutes, Mr. Coakley, our Assistant Superintendent for Business, will share with you the details behind that proposed budget. We've been out and about at PTA meetings and outside community groups sharing that information, and we were asked to make this brief video presentation so we can guarantee that our community will be informed with facts about our budget and what we're hoping you will be able to support. We ask that you be reminded that we want you to exercise your right to vote on Tuesday, May 16th. It is an affirmation of the wonderful things we have been doing in our school district. With that being said, I turn the mic over to Mr. Coakley, who will walk you through the details of this proposed budget.
Thank you, Dr. Harrington. So we will show you the proposed budget for the upcoming school year. Our brief agenda will include the 23-24 expenditures, which are the items we are proposing to spend. The revenue sources will help us with how we will fund the expenditures. We will review a year-to-year analysis comparing last year's figures to the upcoming year's proposed figures. We will review the 3 budget ballot propositions. And finally, we will show you how the information is shared and also how and where we will communicate with our residents over the next couple of days. In Oceanside, we must be in compliance with New York State regulations for all K-12 programmatic decisions, which include our students with disabilities, our mental health, as well as our ESSA and statewide reporting. In curriculum, we are maintaining a well-rounded education through diverse course offerings within our program. In the area of personnel, we are maintaining full-time staff through attrition, as well as having 4 additional teaching and learning coaches, 1 high school psychologist, and special education teachers at the elementary level. Oceanside is very proud to continue the support of our one-to-one Chromebook and or iPad device model for K-12 students. In the area of facilities, School 6 will be the recipients of a brand new playground, and continued maintenance in the areas of parking lot maintenance and district-wide security upgrades are ever important. We are in our 3rd year of being the recipients of a state grant, which we can now offer 287 seats to eligible 4-year-olds at no cost through a universal pre-K grant. And finally, we are excited about 2 wonderful projects we have on our budget ballot, one of which is the Phase 5 project, renovating our science department at Oceanside High School, and the other is a complete renovation of the library at Oceanside Middle School. These are budget neutral and will be covered in detail in the upcoming slides. For the 23-24 school year, the total expenditure amount of our budget is $174,377,846. In an effort to be transparent, this slide will demonstrate how we got here to the bottom line of our expenditure budget. Beginning in November, we begin preparing our budget with receiving all budgetary items from principals, directors, and administrators. Our first review of the budget in December of 2022 amounted to a little over $180 million, or 7.65%, which at that time we knew would exceed our cap. Through a careful review and meetings with principals and directors, we were able to scale back the budget to our second review in January down to a little over $178 million. In the month of January, we did scale back our budget to a little over $178 million. However, we did not feel like we were ready to present it to our board or our community. We did do a 5-year expenditure analysis through all of our budget codes, as well as the news of some staffing upgrades and updates. We were now able to present the budget to the community in February of 2023 of, again, the $174 million proposed budget. We will now review the revenue sources of how we are going to cover and fund our upcoming budget. Oceanside has three main sources of revenue. Other, which are local sources of revenue, which include DACA, pilots, which are payments in lieu of taxes, the direct assessment, which is LIPA's commitment of the 7-year glide path, use of fund balance, and interest earnings. Our other sources of revenue amount to $13,498,716. State aid, which is based on a categorical and expense-driven aid funded by New York State, amounts to $32.5 million. We are happy to once again receive additional state aid. However, we are offsetting some of the loss from the LIPA glide path settlement to preserve and maintain our program. And finally, our tax levy are the property taxes levied on 4 different classifications of property that are subject to the tax cap. That amount is $128,336,035. As you can see, our total revenue budget is $174,377,846. When you compare the revenue budget with our expense budget, you must have a balanced budget. As you can see, Oceanside now has our revenue equal to our expenses. Our budgetary increase represents a 3.83% budget-to-budget increase from last year to the upcoming year. This slide demonstrates an analysis of where we were last year compared to what we're proposing for the upcoming year. Again, our expenditure budget from the prior year was just under $168 million. You will see Oceanside, again, is proposing a 3% budgetary increase to the amount of $174.3 million. Below that, you will see our tax levy amount that we levied on our community last year compared to what we are proposing to levy or raise in taxes for the upcoming year. The tax levy increase amounts to a 2.9% increase for the upcoming school year. Oceanside is very excited to propose 2 capital reserve projects seeking voter approval. The first one is the Oceanside High School Science Department's Phase 5, which is the final phase of a 3-year process we've taken in order to renovate, modernize, and standardize our science department. The neon shaded figures are structural additions we are looking to expand to our building. On the left side, that picture shows the current technology and woodshop rooms in the shaded gray areas. The smaller neon shade you see to the bottom represents a structural addition where students will have the ability to conduct masonry work. To the top portion of the shaded figure, the neon figure represents a structural addition where students will have the ability to work on cars with a new state-of-the-art car lift and an automotive shop. Moving across to the other picture for Phase 5, you will see a large area that incorporates 5 new structural additions. This space will be in the interior courtyard just outside of the high school auditorium. The 5 classrooms will include robotics, an office and a storage area, engineering, a business office, as well as a brand new video broadcasting suite for our video broadcasting production team. The smaller neon items are fire and egress doors to be in compliance with New York State's building code. The total not to exceed budgetary amount for Phase 5 is $13.5 million. At this time, I'd like to stress to the community that this does not get factored into our budget. The $13.5 million are actually going to be coming from our capital reserve project. As a school district, we must be transparent with our community, and in order for us to effectively utilize this money, we must seek and receive successful voter approval. The second project that we are excited to propose for the capital reserve is a complete library renovation at Oceanside Middle School's library. As you can see from the architectural design, we are completely gutting the area and opening it up for flexible collaborative furniture, a media, video, and podcasting suite, a new circulation desk, 2 offices, a reading and an instructional area. Bookshelves will be flush around the library, and this library proposed figure represents a not to exceed amount of $1.2 million. Very similar to the Oceanside Phase 5, this amount also is 100% funded from our capital reserve and does not have any budgetary impact nor additional costs to our community. In subsequent years, when the construction is completed, Oceanside can and will file with the New York State Education Department and receive building aid, which is a form of state aid for future years, which reduces the tax levy burden needed on the community in the future. There are 3 budget ballot propositions that will appear on this year's upcoming budget vote. The first one is the general fund's operating expenditure budget of the $174.3 million. The second one, again with community support, are 100% funded from our capital reserve, which include the Phase 5, as well as the Oceanside Middle School library renovation. And finally, as the taxing authority in this community, we have an obligation to levy taxes on behalf of the Oceanside Library. I'd like to stress to the community, we do not receive a penny, nor do we take a penny for this. However, we funnel the money necessary for the library to operate based on what information they give us. We are happy to share that 3 of our Board of Education trustees will also be running unopposed, Mrs. Laura Lisi, Mr. Donald Maresca, and Mrs. Sandy Scholl. On our district website, you can find a plethora of information and resources, beginning with our full 109-page budget book that is housed on our business office website. The 6-day budget newsletter should be in the mailboxes of Oceanside residents, which will also include the annual budget newsletter, as well as a 5-year gains and improvements look back of what Oceanside has done the preceding 5 years. And again, on our district website, you can find any and all financial reports, our audited financials, fiscal solvency presentations, our district reserve plans, with all up-to-date and accurate information. And if there are any questions on the budget, please reach out to Jarrell Coakley and/or Dr. Harrington. And finally, we wanted to remind the community that our budget vote will be on Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. The doors will open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and the location is at School 6 in the Merle Avenue Gym. This concludes our brief presentation on the roadshow. Thank you for your time.
And I also would like to again thank you for taking the time to become an informed voter. I really do appreciate it and look forward to your vote on Tuesday, May 16th. Thank you for taking the time.